Testing, speaking. Yeah, they're on. I don't want my mic on. I'm sorry. Okay. I'd like to call the Clackamas Community College Board Work Session to order today. It's Wednesday, February the 18th, 2026. And it's around 6:30 p.m. We have Chief Culture and Impact Officer, Casey Layton. And can you please introduce the presenters you have with you this evening?
Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, but I've got CC Leonard, our program, the Cougar Leap Office Program Officer with us. And Gabby, Gabby Sloss, the Workforce Development Director. Yes, I think I've gotten it right. And again, I'm Casey Layton, she, her pronouns. I'm the Chief Cultural Impact Officer here at the college, and really excited to be here with you tonight. We're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible, but we do have a lot of information to share with you. You should have received a report in the board book, which has the full report. Tonight, we are not going to necessarily go through all the details of that report. However, we're going to highlight a particular area of the DEI committee, our Snack and Learn program that we have going on here that helps us to meet some of the requirements for the Oregon state law in regards to cultural competency in higher education. And then we will have one of our partners here at the college talk about their work with the Cougar Leap Office, which is the Leadership, Education, and Advocacy for Progress Office. Very excited to share this information with you. We hope to get through in enough time to offer you some opportunity to ask us some questions if you have any. And I think with that, I will pass it over to Cece. Which screen are we supposed to point it at? There we go.
So hi y'all, CC, she, her pronouns. Thank you for taking the time with us today. I'm going to spend a few minutes sharing about the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, also known as the DEI Committee, and then the work happening in one of our subcommittees. The DEI Committee mission and purpose is written in the report that we provided you, but one of the purposes that this committee serves is related to that Oregon statute that Casey mentioned, and ensuring that we meet some standards there. Beyond that, though, maybe more important to us, the DEI committee is a space for education, joy, and community building across our college. I'll now go through our membership and commitments. So anyone who wants to join the DEI committee can, and then everyone who joins is assigned a subcommittee. There are large group meetings every month, and that's a time that people learn about a topic from another department across campus or something happening that's important for them to know. It could be a policy, but something big happening on our campus. And then we've also found that this is a time that we can increase connection with people from across the colleges or the college, all three campuses, and people meet each other who might not otherwise be connected. So we found that the deeper connections encourage greater continuity of the work across all three campuses, and that leads us to serving our students better. Each subcommittee, there are 4 subcommittees, I'll talk about that in a minute. Each subcommittee meets every month as well. And that's where like the bulk of the project work happens. The project work is based on the needs of the Oregon statute. It's also based on our student enrollment management plan, the campus climate survey, and any institution-wide goals that we have. We call our general members team champions. We like to make it a little bit more fun. So we call them our team champions. They dedicate about 4 to 6 hours per month to the DEI committee. And then subcommittees all have a co-lead as well who dedicate a little bit of extra time. We have 4 subcommittees here on the slide. Each member is assigned one subcommittee based off their interest, their skill sets, and the needs of the DEI committee and the needs of the college. We also provided an appendix containing that information as well with more details about what each of the subcommittees do. And today I'm going to specifically focus on our events and learning subcommittee.
Oh, yes. Got it.
Thank you.
Katie's magic.
So here you see that we have an advertisement for a Snack and Learn event that we did back in November. So this is Snack and Learns are one of the main things that our events and learning group does. And this advertisement, I'll share more about it in a bit, but we're trying to create our advertisements to look similar each time around so people begin to recognize them and know that's a Snack and Learn. So Snack and Learns are for employees only. And previously what we had done was we would bring someone from the community in to talk about a topic. And while it was great to connect with community, we did find that often came with an additional cost and that we had folks at the college who had a lot of knowledge already that maybe wasn't being shared or that people didn't know existed at the college. So with that feedback, we instead created a panel style Snack and Learn. And that's our new kind of format moving forward, where we have multiple departments and people from different offices throughout all 3 campuses who can come and share about a particular topic. I don't expect everyone to remember everything that was shared in these Snack and Learns. So we also build out a resource guide where everyone who was a panelist shares a little bit about their area, their contact information. And then we build that packet out, we give it to everyone who attended, and then we share it out with the whole DEI committee, which is about 50 people right now. And then it's a resource that we keep sharing out in every opportunity we can, and we encourage other folks to share out as well. I'm going to give you some stats. Since starting this panel style practice in spring of 2025, we've had 3 panels, which have totaled about 60 employees. The topics included supporting first-generation college students, which had about 18 attendees, supporting Pell Grant eligible students and students facing economic challenges, which had about 30, and students' ease of access to services, which is the one you see up there. That one had about 12. We've had 13 areas on campus that have shared resources at these panels. Some have shared at more than one panel because there's places that do a lot of different kinds of work, so there's a lot of opportunity to share. So our 13 areas were academic advising, community education, community support response team, the food pantry, foundation and scholarships, Harmony Student Services, institutional research and reporting, the library, the president's office, skills development, student support council, Wachino Welcome Desk, and workforce development services, which you'll hear from shortly. So I'll briefly share where we're headed. We have another Snack and Learn coming up next month. The topic is Black, Indigenous, and People of Color's Experiences and Resources, Advancing Belonging for Students and Employees. As I shared earlier about our advertising, one of our goals is to really increase the number of people who attend these. And another way we're doing that is a different part of the DEI committee, a different subcommittee, is working on gathering some stories that we can then share as some advertising. Like here's how people connected to this. Here's why it matters to you. Here's how you can see yourself as part of these. This isn't just people who care about this one topic or just people who are involved in the DEI committee. Anyone can go to this who's an employee. And then lastly, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a few folks who've helped make this possible. Julia Nicholson in Human Resources. She co-leads the Events and Learning Subcommittee. Adrienne Skritzmeyer, she had a focus on trauma-informed practices that sparked some of the initial conversations that led us into this panel style. Nia Kozak from Student Services on Harmony Campus. She creates all the marketing for us, which I really appreciate. And then all the members of our subcommittee for helping plan these events. And then I'll now pass the floor to Gabby Sloss, who will talk a little bit more about workforce development services.
Thanks. And again, good evening, everybody. My name is Gabby Sloss, and I serve as the Director of Workforce Development Services here at Clackamas Community College. I appreciate the opportunity to partner with the Cougar Leap office and share how that partnership has strengthened our decision-making practices and deepened our alignment with the college's mission. At its core, Workforce Development Services is responsible for walking alongside community members who often feel the system was not designed with them in mind. And because we steward public workforce funds, we are equally responsible for ensuring that the system itself functions fairly. WDS operates at the intersection of education and employment. We provide career advising, workforce navigation, training investments aligned with labor market demand, and supportive services funded through federal, state, and local workforce dollars. Many of the individuals we serve are navigating job loss, reentry, economic instability, or barriers that make complex systems difficult to access. When pathways to opportunity are complex or unclear, access to employment becomes uneven, and access to employment is directly tied to economic mobility. Our role is not just to deliver services, it is to walk alongside individuals as they navigate those systems with clarity, consistency, and support. Next slide. Because access to employment is directly tied to economic mobility, how we make decisions matters. Equity in workforce development is not simply about who receives services, it is about how decisions are made. Through insight from the DEI committee and in direct partnership with the Cougar Leap office, we examined how equity shows up in our operational practices, particularly in how we allocate limited training dollars. We strengthened eligibility frameworks, documentation standards, and review processes to ensure consistent application of policy and transparent stewardship of public funds. One of the ways we operationalize this commitment is through the Cougar Pause. We use the Cougar Pause as a structured reflection process before approving significant training investments. At a governance level, it ensures consistency, documentation, and alignment with labor market demand. But it also requires us to step back and examine our assumptions and to consider how institutional systems may unintentionally create barriers. Without intentional reflection, unintended inequities can quietly perpetuate themselves through routine processes. The pause asks not only, is this allowable, but also, is this equitable? And are we applying this consistently? To ensure this was not simply a compliance requirement, but a meaningful shift in how we make decisions, our department, along with unwavering support from our TAPS division, we also invested in building internal capacity. We engaged the Center Consultancy Group to strengthen staff capacity around structured reflection and equitable decision-making. The outcome has been stronger alignment between policy, practice, and participant impact. Yeah. While this work has strengthened our internal discipline, we do face ongoing realities. Federal workforce funding has declined, state resources are sunsetting, policy shifts, including changes in authorization to work requirements, require continuous review of eligibility criteria. At the same time, participants are navigating benefits cliffs, housing instability, and transportation barriers. These realities increase demand on limited training dollars. In this environment, discipline and reflective decision-making is not optional, it's essential. Equity in workforce development is not about preference, it's about ensuring that access to opportunity is not determined by who understands the system best, but by fair and consistent application of it. Having a dedicated Cougar Leap strengthens, of course, this work by providing shared language, structured frameworks, and institutional alignment. That partnership has made workforce development services stronger, more transparent, and more aligned with the college's mission and our responsibility to the communities we serve. Ensuring that access to opportunity does not depend on how well someone understands the system is both a moral and fiscal responsibility.
I want to thank my partners for helping to kind of share just how complex equity work can be and across multiple disciplines here at the college. Some of the things the Cougar Leap directly oversees, and some things we're asking groups like Gabby and Workforce Development to apply the resources that we've created in our office to the work that they do, where they are the experts. We also wanted to give a shout out to the budget office, who utilizes the business office is what I would say. Business office for utilizing the Cougar Pause in the budget processes that we've used this year. I also want to highlight giving a big thanks to Christina Francisco Evans, who is the office program coordinator, who does so much both in front, like on the front lines and behind the scenes, that makes everything that we do in our office possible. She's sitting in the back of the room. I'd love for her to wave her hand and because she didn't want to come up here, but she is fantastic. And this has really rounded out our team. And we also regularly work with Jesse, that's sitting at the desk with you all. It takes a lot of hands to make this work happen. And this is just what you see in the report is just literally the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that we actually do here at the college. So I'm very proud of this work, and I'm really proud to work with people who are so willing and committed.
Thank you.
We are open to answering any questions that you might have.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. I read the reports that you guys sent in, and it looks like there's just so much great work being done here. And I just want to say that I appreciate all of it. I just had a couple of questions. So looking at your charter, it looks like you're structured in a very thoughtful way, and that's great. I just had a couple of questions about it. So what does like committee decision making look like in a group of 50 plus people? Like, how do you reach a consensus? Is it like a voting thing, or do the leaders have a special role in that? I just was curious about how that works in such a big group.
I almost feel like I should be like, well, they kind of just do what I say and they go along with it. But I think what most of it is through consensus, and most of the decisions that are made in the committee is through in their smaller groups and the subcommittees that happen. Like, they're making decisions about like, what should we put on our website, or what is the next snack and learn that we want to, like, what are the topics we should be covering? It's a very collaborative group. There's not a lot of dissension. It's more so like, how do we find more opportunities to do more of the things that we would like to do? So most of the final decisions sometimes come through me, but usually I'm just saying yes to the things that they've brought forward that they want to do.
So in our subcommittees in the smaller groups, at the beginning of the year, we go through what are they thinking about for the year? Here's what we've done historically. What do you want to see done differently? Let's look at some of the documents I named of our student enrollment management plan. What are our goals or priorities at the college? How do we stay in alignment with our mission, vision, values? We pull all of that together to make a plan for the year. And then that's where we might send some of those final decisions through our office, but it normally gets approved. We might also say, hey, here's some things our office has been trying to do that on a team of 3, we don't have a lot of capacity for. Like, are there ways that you can help with this? The larger groups, what I've started doing is bringing folks in to like workforce development services to share about more of the stuff happening at the college and do more of the relationship building. So there's not really huge decisions to be made in that large group, but sometimes someone will come in and say, I want to run this by and get feedback from the DEI committee. How can I make this better? And there might be times that there's something going on that people say, hey, can we just pause and talk about this topic? Because I want to get feedback, or I'm having some thoughts to share. So yeah, just to add a little more deeply.
And more recently, we're just like everyone else, we're trying to weave in the Cougar pause. Like, how do we come to decisions about how we're going to move forward? That's why it ends up being such a collaborative process.
Cool. Yeah, I just had one more question. So the report detailed some of the legislative requirements from HB 2864. I was wondering who makes the determination of whether those requirements have been met, and is it the same people that are doing the work who are evaluating whether the work has been done, or is it like different people involved doing that? Or
in all actuality, it is yes, or it's you all. That's why we're required to do a report to you. We go far above what the statute actually asks, so we don't usually feel like we've not met any of their requirements. We are usually focused on how can we do better, how can we do more. I wasn't here originally when this report came out, when it came to be at the state, but I took it over, and I think we've just gone far above and beyond what it asks for.
House Bill 2864 was intended to be the first of other bills And it was intended just to get the colleges working on this and submitting a report that it was happening. And so I think the part two or part threes, there was supposed to be legislative funding that would come along and support this and some evaluation and the rest. And to be frank, that has not happened in the legislature. So it in a way, sometimes Casey laughed because when we talk about this, sometimes it feels like it's important to us here, but we send it off and it kind of goes into a little bit of a black hole in
Mhm.
that way.
Thank you for reading it.
Yeah, definitely. Mhm.
Well, if it's up to me, I pass you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, that's great. You can always reach out to me. You all know where to find me. And if you want to go deeper into any one of these topics, again, I'd like to thank all the people that really take the time to help us do this work. Big thanks to CC, who runs the DEI committee pretty much solely. And it's a wonderful space of learning and connection and like foresight into how we can do better as a college, uplifting the voices of people who are serving students and each other.
Thank you
Well,
all.
I was just gonna say, it's so thoughtful and so clear, and you're doing such a good job. So
you,
thank you
Jane.
all.
I want to say the same thing. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you very
bringing the
much.
information to us and keeping us informed. I think you're doing a great job and I love your office.
Isn't it though? Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. What happened there?
Right. This work session is adjourned. And we're going to take a quick break. We should be back here in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Welcome to Clackamas Community College Board of Education regular meeting. It's Wednesday, February the 18th, 2026, around 7:00 p.m. And I'll now call this meeting to order. Katie, will you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Position number 7, representing Canby and Malala, Irene Konev, and Irene is absent this evening. Position number 6, representing Estacada and Colton, Jane Reed.
Here,
Position number 5, representing Westland and Wilsonville, Ryan Ingersoll.
Here.
Position number 3, representing Gladstone and Johnson City, Wade Hathorn. Wade is absent this evening. Position number 2, representing Clackamas and Happy Valley, Rob Wheeler.
Here.
Position number 1, representing Milwaukee, Alina Krolenbrock.
Here.
Position number 4, representing Oregon City, Chair Josephine Crenshaw.
Here. Before we do the labor and land acknowledgements this evening, we would like to take a moment of silence for our former CCC board member, Judy Irving. Judy passed away in December, and I'd like to turn this over to Board Director Jane Reed to say a few words before our moment of silence.
well, Judy Irvin was on this board from 2005 to 2014. And I am now the only board member who served with her. She was so helpful and inspiring to me, especially as a new board member. She was also really active in her community. She served on the Gladstone City Council for 20 years, the Gladstone Library for 10 years, Library Board for 10 years. And she was a longtime member of the American Association for University Women. She was OCCA board president in 2011, 12, and she was a master of parliamentary procedure. I think she had some sort of, she was credentialed in parliamentary procedure from some point. She was very good. She and her wonderful husband, Bob, who came to so many events with her, led a number of elder hostel, which is now called Road Scholar tours. And they also spent their summers in a forest cabin. So she was an interesting woman. She was a woman who was interested in many, many things. And I learned so much from her. What I personally remember most was her kind, steady, helpful, positive presence. She was a joy to be with, and she will be missed.
Thank you, Jane.
Yeah.
Now we want to take a pause and to remember Judy and her commitment and dedication to the CCC community. Thank you. Our labor and land acknowledgements. Rob and
Well, I'm just gonna do
Not necessarily in that order.
All right, Jane, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Didn't know that she's- So this is the CCC land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that Clackamas Community College campuses reside on the traditional homelands of the Clackamas, Cascades, and Tumwater bands of the Kalapua and Northern Malala people. They lived and prospered by maintaining strong cultural ties to the land and through wise management of resources. As signers of the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, they were removed from their homelands to the Grand Ronde Indian Reservation, where they became members of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Please join us in taking this opportunity to thank and honor the original caretakers of this land, their lives, and their descendants that live on as tribal members today, still carrying on the traditions and cultures of their ancestors.
This is the labor acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the foundation and wealth of the United States was built upon the forced labor of enslaved African people, involuntary and trafficked indigenous labor, and the often exploited labor of immigrant, domestic, and farm workers. Their vital contributions and resilience in spite of violence, terror acts, and bloodshed are integral to understanding our nation's past, present, and hope of what's to come. The prosperity many enjoy today is rooted in centuries of labor extracted under conditions of injustice, inequality, and ongoing systemic oppression. Acknowledging this truth is a step toward honoring those who were denied justice and toward creating a future that is more equitable, inclusive, and humane.
Thank you. The Clackamas Community College Board of Education welcomes community members to attend board meetings to become acquainted with the programs and operations of the college district. Members of the public are encouraged to share their comments with the board during the agenda item that's labeled public comments. Comments from the audience at any other time during the meeting except for agenda item public comments will be declared out of order. Please keep comments to 3 minutes or less. Katie, do we have anyone signed?
We do not, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We will continue on. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the following items. We need approval of 1A, minutes from our work and regular session on 1/21 of 26. Acceptance of 2A, monthly financial reports. 2B, our personnel report. 2C, our bond update. And 2D, our fall enrollment report. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent agenda for discussion? Looks like.
No, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. To approve the consent agenda, items 1A through 2D, we will vote by acclamation. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 There are no opposed. Are there any abstentions? No. For the record, the motion passes. Our new business for this evening, we're going to begin with our 26-27 tuition and fees. Under new business, we have the tuition and fees. We'd like to ask Dean Christy Owen to come forward to present this item.
Give a moment for the presentation to get up. Good evening, Chair and Directors.
Good evening.
Are we up? All right, we are. Hello, my name is Christy Owen, Dean of Business Services, she, her pronouns, and I'm here tonight for a brief slide deck on tuition and fees in front of the 26 and 27 budget. I'd also like to introduce Samuel Powers. Many of you may know Samuel as the President of the Associated Student Government. He's here with me tonight in case you have questions and would like to ask of ASG. Maybe. There we go. Thank you. So the rate of tuition is an input into calculating the revenues for the college and the general fund. And beyond the budget, the cost of tuition is information for students as they prepare for their summer fall terms next academic year. At the time of registration, the action of approving the rates and the fees is part of Oregon local budget law and provides one of 3 primary resources supporting college operations. When reviewing tuition and fees, there is a policy decision to balance the affordability with measured growth. Incremental adjustments are often taken as a way to prevent periods of 0% or stagnated growth and then a large increase that impacts students as they are conducting their own financial planning for their academic pursuit here at CCC. There also are course-specific fees, and this is not a part of today's report. Okay, glad that it worked, great. All right, so as we are working through our 26-27 decision framework, we bring this action before the board in two parts, first as a report and then for action in March. So what we have looked at here is cost modeling for 26-27 with an option to increase tuition at 4.6%, going from $130 per credit hour to $136 per credit hour. The average increase over the last 5 years here at CCC has been 4.1% over this time, with the largest percentage increase occurring in fiscal year 22-23. That percentage increase over the prior year was 5.4%. As you walk across this table, you can see where we have used the 15 credit per term. This represents a full load. Per financial aid, a full load can sometimes kick in at the 12 credit, but each student's financial aid will be a little bit different based on their circumstances and what they qualify for. We also use the 15 credit hours as a way to compare to the other community colleges in Oregon. So that way we're all using the same number of terms and credit hours when we make the comparison. So when you look in the board report, you may see this term highlighted frequently. There's also the universal and general fees. So these actions also come in March, and the last couple of years they have not had a change. This is where we take the opportunity to look at our general fees, which is a cost per credit hour, and that is split between two distinct buckets, where you have the general fee that supports operational support for hybrid course and remote courses, our computer labs, our athletic and intramurals, and our associated student government. The other half of the cost per credit hour supports the general technology fee. What we have modeled here has a $1 increase split equally between those two areas. So 50 cents going into the general support fee and a 50 cents going into the student technology fee. The third fee is the one time per term college services fee. This is a fee that has not been increased for several years. It is one that generally is modeled to provide a supportive structure for services where you're essentially in lieu of a incremental or a per transaction fee base. So think through like your cost for transcripts, enrollment, or other services that benefit the college community for that fee. And that is a one per term fee. So essentially what we're looking at is the combined increase when you model this way. So this chart walks through, again, those same 15 credit hours and compares 26-27 as an option to 25-26. The table goes through the full credit load over 3 years. The blended percentage increase is 5.3% if all three increase at what has been modeled. The per term comparison is $115 increase, and over the course of a 3-term academic year, the amount of increase would be $345. So the overall fiscal impact to the college. Increasing tuition and fees increases revenue in the general fund by approximately $405,000 over a 3-year life of the forecast. For context, the amount of forecasted revenue for tuition is approximately $19 to $20 million per year. So when you consider the full suite of in-state and out-of-state tuition, net revenue is in the $19 to $20 million dependent on enrollment numbers because tuition has a 1-for-1 relationship with the student. The increase of tuition and fees is not enough to resolve either the structural deficit or any decisions to change state allocation of the Community College Support Fund at this dollar amount. The result is that expenses must also be reduced to build fiscal sustainability for college operations. So how do we compare? On this chart, we have the 25-26 tuition and fees for 3 terms as reported to the state's Higher Education Coordinating Commission. And what you can see here on this chart is that the red line shows the state average of $6,913, and then how we compare to our local Portland metropolitan area community colleges. CCC is under this amount by a fair amount, just looking at the bar. More importantly is that If CCC were to increase its cost per academic year by the $345, we would still be below the state average should no other college in the state make any change. And we would still be at a comparable mark with our local colleges in the immediate region. One other thing that speaks to affordability is that the per capita income in the Portland metro area is one of the most expensive areas in Oregon to live, work, and play. And we are still in an area or have been able to keep our tuition in that affordable category when compared to other jurisdictions in the region. If you do look at the board report, you will also see that we have a comparison to all 17 community colleges. CCC has historically been in the bottom third of that report as benchmarked against the average state tuition. So a moment for the pause and the question of who benefits and who is burdened. This is probably one of the most challenging parts of looking at the tuition impacts and fees on students. Not all impact is equal. A majority of students are part-time and have less than a full credit load. So weighing that burden on students for a quality education and the student's experience is important. And we look at making sure that we have institutional stability and can support a modern technology and learning environment while also balancing and not overburdening our students who may not qualify for the additional financial aid resources or be more reliant on outside funding partners to help fill that gap. So this is where we sit in that space of what does the impact of tuition increases look like when we model a change to the current service level. We're here with information and opportunity for discussion. The action to approve a tuition rate and the universal fees comes in our March board meeting. And so we wanted to prepare you with an opportunity to see what some cost modeling would look like and have an opportunity to ask follow-up questions as we prepare a motion resolutions for action at the next month. And that's time for questions.
Can you remind us what the assumption was for state funding in this?
The assumption?
Yeah, what's coming from the state?
I don't think we have changed our assumption because I haven't received direction from the state.
Okay.
Jeff Schaefer, Vice President of Finance and Operations. The state assumptions don't weave into the tuition resolution, if that's what you're asking. That's a forecast element of the
Yeah.
forecast. So the assumption from the state was that we would have some level of 2.5% to 5% reductions back from fall, and then we're still preparing for what that announcement is going to be in the upcoming short session, but it doesn't impact our regular tuition rate, if that's what you're asking.
So we're making that decision before we know what's coming from the state.
In theory, we're presenting a first read to you with what we suspect at this point, but we're hopeful that we will get a better idea of where that state will land between now and the March board meeting.
So these numbers could change.
They could, depending on what that announcement would be, but that would be a discussion. Again, from what we know at this point with the state, we feel that there won't be a large dramatic change. So this was our recommendation.
Up or down?
What's that?
Large dramatic change up or down?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is one of the challenges with modeling is you're trying to look at something that is frankly feels like nailing Jello to a wall where you're trying to decide like where are you landing? I know that's a horrible analogy to make for something as serious as this, but
Yeah.
We are trying to be financially responsible and bring something that is close, if not as accurate as possible with the information we're given from the state on making sure that we're able to support students with a less dramatic increase, but also making sure that we're not reducing expenses too quickly, if that makes sense, because it is dependent on what comes from the state.
Yeah, it's a big unknown. Yeah. Well, thank you though.
Will we have an opportunity to hear from students about what kinds of impacts this increase in tuition might have on them?
During the process, as we're pulling together the information, I have reached out to our colleagues in the Associated Student Government. That's where the general way to bring information through to them has been. It is that has been the general practice, and I think that's why we had Samuel here. And if you would like, you can speak to our presentation and conversation we had last week.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so Christy came to our general meeting last Wednesday, and we had this presentation basically, and we discussed what it might look like, and we gave feedback that we had, and I mean, mostly the thoughts we had as a group were this is kind of an impossible situation, and it is that balance like Christy was describing of like we have all these resources here that we're all utilizing, like you know tutors, being able to be in student government, like peer assistance, and all of the various programs at CCC. And so I think the general feeling was this is sort of as close to a compromise in a difficult situation as is possible, of not sacrificing all of the programs that we have that make us special and give us the support that we as students need, while also recognizing that like, yeah, the institution has to be sustainable. Like we can't do nothing. And even if that's hard and is going to impact some people for the worst, it is what is there to do here, Yeah. And that's a part of why I think, I would say like 95% of student government went to lobby day today, and we saw you there. And thank you for being there, because it does matter. So.
I just have a kind of a comment that I've been on the board for a long time now, and I've had I don't remember what tuition was when I started, but it was not anywhere near this, and so it's never a fun thing to decide as a board member either. I mean, it is because we see the implications, we see that, but I think one of the things that we realize is that we have just a finite number of places where money can come from to fund this college, and it's property taxes and it's tuition and it's from the state. And this is really the only one that we have control of. And so I think, how many years has it always sort of been at this 5% or 4% or 5%? I don't know that there's any year that there has not been an increase. It's just how it works.
Yeah, I do 20-year modeling, and the only year that we haven't increased tuition was 2014-15. So that was the single year, whatever happened that particular year that we froze it. But every year has
Yeah.
been some level of
Yes.
of 3 to 7% increases from at least those 20 years of 2006 and beyond that I have records of.
So I guess I was here when that was, I don't remember that. So, but anyway, it's not easy, but it's so necessary. I mean, it doesn't, yeah. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
My question might be for Jane as well, or whoever, but I'd be curious to learn more about sort of being in the most expensive place to live in the state and being in the bottom third in the tuition. And so is that because we're trying to be intentional about that? Is that because we're being responsive to sort of balancing student cost of living and trying to be responsible with tuition? Or the other thing that sort of came to mind was like, how are we just been really efficient with our expenses and been very conservative with this, that's sort of where we've ended. So I don't know if there's any historical information or content that can kind of help me understand kind of have we always been at this level, or has this been something that's happened more recently?
Well, I can say that we've been in the bottom from when I've been here. So it wasn't anything that we've strategically been doing over the last 5 years to move down. I would have to look. to see where we were at like 10, 15 years ago, but I feel like we've always been relatively below the bar. And I'm not exactly sure what happened to my predating, Jane predates me, but it has been an interesting phenomenon that one of our board principles is about affordability and staying within that area of Mount Hood and PCC, which has been here since the Great Recession as a board principle. Yet we've always been well below PCC and Mount Hood. So it is an interesting phenomenon that I was curious about too. And I mean, we should take pride in the fact that we're able to remain financially sustainable through those years and still have lower tuition. So we have this ability to at least not feel guilty about being above that bar, right? So.
I know in my 9 years, it's been intentional, right, to keep it down and affordable. So I take a little pride in it, actually, like the board does.
Yeah, if I can add, that was been my direction the time I've been here, is that the board has wanted to keep the tuition as affordable as possible. We've had some spirited discussions about that in those years, and certainly looking at in the metro area what PCC and Mount Hoods are, and trying to be low there. Part of your question, at least the way I heard it, was what does that mean when we're living in a in an expensive area, and what does that mean for the college? We've had internal discussions over the years about, does that, by keeping that really low, is that hindering us in offering some services and some ability to really do some of the things that we think we need to be doing? Yes, we try to be as efficient as possible as we can, but there may be, it may unintentionally or intentionally cause us some challenges when we're trying to offer services at a level. I think that's getting at part of your question.
Are there any other questions? Anyone? Thank you. And we
Thank you
will
very
come back next month. Thanks so much. Our next presentation tonight is resolution number R 25/26. Authorizing to contract with GT Blade Works, Inc. for the bond project improving the Douglas Loop Walking Trail. Under our new business action item, we have a request to contract with Blade Works for the Douglas Loop Walking Trail. I would like to invite Dean Ron Prince and owners Representative Dale Kuykendall to please come forward to present this item. You're already here. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair and Directors. Appreciate your time tonight. Ron Prince, Dean of Campus Services, joined by Dale Kuykendall, our from Winnahaw Group, our amazing bond manager, and then Jeff Schaefer, our Vice President. Tonight, we're asking for your consideration on the next bond project that involves for improvements for the Douglas Loop Walking Trail. This contract will improve safety, ADA accessibility, and greatly enhance staff, student, and community enjoyment of the campus. The project will fill in the gaps of the existing trail and provide a continuous loop around Douglas Loop. All these pathways will provide connectivity internal to the campus and will support the city's master trail plan. Utilizing a hard bid procurement approach, we received 12 bids. The initial apparent low bidder discovered an error in their pricing and withdrew their bid. The second bidder, with a bid amount of $859,000, was GT Blade Works. They are recommended for award of this, and they're a well-qualified firm that has performed similar projects in the Portland metro region. In addition, for additional information, currently under design is enhanced lighting for the Douglas Loop Walking Trail, which will go out for bid later this spring in a separate contract. That's a requirement that the city placed on us as part of the permitting and land use process. So appreciate your consideration of this, and are open for any questions you might have.
I had a question about the city requirements, was that a bit of a surprise? Did that increase the cost of the work quite a bit for us? Lighting and safety, right?
Yes, sir. It definitely was a little bit of a surprise. We actually, it looks like initial amounts of that work are going to put us under budget overall for this project, but it was definitely a little bit of a surprise. I think it's going to add some definite improvement in safety for that trail for use. But definitely a surprise. We're currently in the process of doing that engineering study and understanding more about what rough order of magnitude for pricing is. So,
I know safety is a concern for everybody, and lighting would certainly add to that.
yes, sir. And one of the other things that we're doing is we're working with our college director of college safety to integrate some cameras as well on some of these areas under the scope of work that he's currently working on. So there'll be that added safety benefit as well.
As part of a city master plan, is it,
Yes, sir.
for trails? Are they contributing?
It's a master trail plan that goes all over Oregon City. And no.
They're not contributing financially.
Well, they're contributing with their input to allow us the opportunity to put these improvements in. Yes, sir.
How about design review or anything like that? Not gonna do any of that for us either?
There will be a traditional building permit process to get the job started.
Okay.
And we'll probably enter that permit process in the next month or so.
I will say that the nice thing about when they have a trail plan, that they're not sure how it's ever going to get completed. And you have two big projects. One is the Natural Resources Center, which will go right along Beaver Creek Road, and then across Claremont, which is by our horticulture area. And then this project, which will go out by our farmers market and connect in with our blue lot out here. That'll really complete their plan all the way from almost the Dutch Brothers, that whole Beaver Creek Road side, all the way to Myers Road is a 10-foot accessible lit trail. That's really what they wanted in that plan. And we have two projects that make it, that help complete their plan, which makes them a lot nicer at the table for all the other elements of permitting and land use. At least it makes it good partners because they know we're doing projects and not pushing back saying we can't afford your trail. We're figuring out how we work those into our projects to help them complete their plans, which helps them work with us on the other pieces of these projects. So it's a good partnership.
So maybe a little gratitude coming our way, something?
One would hope. One would hope. It's early.
I can definitely say that the few meetings and interactions we've had with the city, with all these bond projects, we're building, continuing to build those relationships that were built as part of the 2014 bond that the previous dean and the college implemented. So,
Mine is a quick question. It's not going to increase our costs for this trail, correct?
It's still free to walk the trail? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what.
No, I
No,
mean-
but to Ron's point, I don't know if you're talking about the cost of the project.
Right, yes.
The really good news that came out with this is these bids were lower than we anticipated. So this project, it's ironic that the city on one hand said that we needed the lighting and required lighting and the safety pieces. And then the bids came in below budget. And we were like, great timing to get one thing from the city on one day and then get the bids under budget the next day. So it really, this will stay under budget for this whole project, even with that added safety feature. So this is really good news for the beginning of our bond project.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Let us know.
The bidding market is very hungry. We're looking forward to our upcoming maintenance yard bid, and hoping for a great result there too.
I'm just
Bill?
curious, are there any plans for like fun features along the trail, like cool things to look at? Or is it just kind of like a practical, like walk from point A to point B thing that's safe and lit up?
Joe's smiling over here. I can see it in her. We're putting in a water fountain that's going to be as a feature that you can be used for pets as well. We're looking at benches, and there's still some work that we're looking at doing, integrating some artwork as well. We have a local person that has expressed some interest in a few pieces, and so we're working to see how we can integrate those into the trail as well.
Well, I'm just telling you that I'm looking forward to this walking trail. And we're gonna bring the whole group when we start out.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's get it done.
And we want to thank you, Joe, for being on that committee that helped us with that, because as Ron mentioned, that helped. It was that kind of feedback that we got as, you know, you're building this nice amenity. It would be nice to have a drinking fountain or a place along this trail. So we took that feedback and we said, where could we do this that would make sense for the year, for the drainage and the water lines. And so we took that feedback. So it's having the community involved like that on these projects, which really gives us a feeling like we did something that is going to be better than it would have been in the original master plan. So
We promise we're gonna bring the animals out there too. So thank you.
You betcha. We're all open to any kind of bond questions as well, if you guys have any other additional questions.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to just thank you again for the bond update that we get all the time in the consent agenda. It's all right, but I thought, Dale, thank you for the update. It's really good to see all of that. It's so detailed and the finances, watching how that's balancing out and everything. So congratulations on doing that.
Elizabeth Cole produces the financial report.
Okay, well,
Yep.
thank her too then.
Any other questions? If there are no other questions, are proposed changes, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve, especially since it's under budget and we're actually having some gains from it, for safety and lighting. So motion to approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second approving resolution R 25/26. Let's take the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? There are no extensions. Please state for the record, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get that. now. We have our student faculty presentations, Veteran Services Center, presentation with students. I would like to ask Dean Danielle Hoffman to please come forward to introduce our speaker.
Good evening, board. I am excited to have the opportunity to introduce Aubrey, who is our Veteran Services Coordinator. She started maybe within a week or so of my start at the institution, so she's been here for a year and a half and served with as a Marine Corps veteran and comes from a family with a strong military history. After leaving the military, she served with the Air Force as a civilian contractor. And while attending PSU, worked with local nonprofit organizations focused on serving veterans and individuals experiencing homelessness. Prior to her role with us, she also worked with Clackamas County, providing support to veterans, and has been connected to this work for some time. So she has some students with her that she'll introduce, and I'm excited for you to learn more about their great work.
Thank you, Danielle. Hi, folks. As the presentation comes up, I'll just give a brief thank you and for this opportunity to present with you. Great to have you. Great to be here too, to the directors, to the chair and President Tim Cook. And then also I'd like to give a quick shout out as this gets set up to the folks that were able to attend the lobbying. Thank you and congratulations on what sounds like a successful day. Okay, well, thanks for this opportunity. I'm here to talk about some fun stuff, I think, in comparison to budgets and all that good stuff. We'll get into the weeds, but I'm excited.
as an overview for our Vet Center, also known as the Veteran Education and Training Center, VET is what it stands for, so that's why we use that acronym. I'm here to highlight the impact that we're making with our military-connected folks, as well as share with you how our students use the space, connect with one another, and engage on campus. Oftentimes, I think this serves as a landing space, but also a launch pad for many. Just a quick overview of some of the staff that we have here. We have 2 full-time staff. One is our school certifying official, April Smith. She has 23 years of dedicated service here at CCC. So we're very thankful to have her as she serves many roles and connections in that piece too. She kind of serves as a liaison between the VA, the Veterans Affairs, and the students themselves. And then you have me, the Veteran Service Coordinator, who kind of oversees multiple different entities, but mainly the coordinator of the center itself. I also see the connection between the National Guard reservists and active duty military members in their function through school and tuition assistance. Additionally, we have the opportunity to participate in the VA work study program, which is paid for by the VA. So we right now have 6 students employed, and that fluctuates as terms ebb and flow and the need of it, and the opportunity for the students as well. We are in a revitalized space from where we were previously located in the Wachino Welcome Center in WC 170. And I extend this invitation to all. Please come by and come check us out. We absolutely love guests. We love games. We have snacks. We have coffee. It includes a welcome desk. We provide direct services there. We have refreshments, entertainment, and a computer lab where folks can come and do their homework or whatever they really truly need to work on. One thing we're very proud of to boast and remind everybody of all the time, as many times as we can, is we're award winners of the Best for Vets. And this year we have won the 2025 Best for Vets colleges. Our statistics this year was the #1 community college in Oregon, the #7 college in the Northwest, top 25% of the nation's career technical schools. And this commitment is something that we continue to see for 11 years now. So we're thankful and very proud to share that. Now, this slide is directly taken from our orientation with the slides that students get when they come into CCC. This is a part of integrated as they're setting up their My Clackamas. This is to capture as many folks as we possibly can and cast our net as wide as we possibly can. Who we serve does not necessarily fit the box of what we stereotypically think of a veteran. We do serve our prior service members of all DoD branches. We additionally serve immediate family members of prior service members, including children, stepchildren, current and surviving spouses. Additionally, we also serve the active Guard and Reserve members. And then additionally, we want to ensure that we're addressing the identity of veteran in many different formats, because not often do people have great experiences with their time in the military. And traditionally, there's been many demographics that have not been represented under that identity for many years. And so we want to ensure that we're casting our net as wide as we possibly can and ensuring that access to these benefits really true touch everybody. I absolutely love this slide. It's always fun to share some fun photos with everybody. And I think when I think of building community, I think of it as one of our primary roles here at CCC and primary roles with our students and the community itself. I'll share with you my polished version of what building community is. That is, the Vet Center exists to remove access barriers for veterans and their families, support workforce transition, and enhance student engagement and retention. In alignment with the college's strategic mission to provide holistic student supports that improve ease of access to college services, strengthen students' sense of belonging, and support progress towards their educational and career goals. Now, my unpolished version is though sometimes we get to play paintball and sometimes we get to eat pizza and bash a car and do all that fun stuff. And so I'll explain. The photo on the far right is my left. Maybe you're right. is the paintball cohort that we got to take during Veterans Day. We paid for these veterans and their families to come and hang out and play paintball. It's a good reminder of how much exercise is involved with paintball, a lot, especially if you're running the other way. The middle photo there is our club had the opportunity to help a local nonprofit who serves food boxes to veterans, active duty members, and their families. We broke a record, and I'm proud to say that we packed 300 food boxes in under 17 minutes. In that last photo there is our very own President Tim Cook participating in our car bash that happened last year. Again, I extend an invitation. This is an annual event that we have. It's a club fundraiser. The club did an amazing job last year, and this year we work with automotive to get these cars. This year we have a cop car. So it'll be a fun time, I think. So really fun opportunity to build that community, and we can do it in so many different fashions and so many different ways. Now, to get into the unfun data-driven work and into the weeds, I want to explain this graph a little bit here. So this is tuition paid by the VA for the 2024-25 school year. The numbers in red are the students that we certify. I want to be sure that there's an understanding these are not the students in whole of who are veterans. These are just the students that we are certifying for VA benefits. Now, our student population for veterans is a lot larger than this. And oftentimes, too, we find, again, that the identity of veteran is not always something forthright that somebody always chooses. So I just want to be sure that we're watching this. Additionally, what is not represented is the money back to the community through basic housing allowance. Now, when a student attends, let's say a student is utilizing a GI Bill to go to school, they are also paid by the VA, not only for their tuition, which is paid directly to CCC, they are paid a basic housing allowance. That, through these numbers, is estimated $273,000 per term in basic housing allowance paid directly to the students, which then in turn goes directly back to the community, which then goes back to our school, and we see it, and it additionally alleviates some of that basic need stress that we see our students so often face. What we can also see here too, which is very interesting, is our fall 2024 numbers are less than our spring 25 numbers. And that is something consistently we are seeing. We did see a 10% increase from our 2023-24 to 2024-25 school year. And just based off of those numbers alone, I can see now that we have a 12% upcoming increase for this school year. Our numbers are continuing to grow, and we're seeing many wonderful things happening through that, including engagement, including student resources, but we're also seeing a huge impact on basic needs. Additionally, something new that we're tracking is usage data of the center. Now, based off of our numbers that we have so far, it is about 2,500 in-person interactions per year to the center. Now, it is a duplicated number, meaning that if President Tim Cook comes into our office and he does his homework and he gets a cup of coffee that day, and then next week he comes in and he gets a cup of coffee and does his homework in the computer lab, he is counted one for each of that day. Okay, so it is about 2,500 duplicated numbers for in-person interactions. That is also not including how many emails I get. It's not including how many phone calls I get. I want to be very clear on that. One thing I really love to highlight too is our grant work and then the foundation as well. This is just a quick glimpse, but we were awarded in December 2025 of $17,899 towards campus service. This is through the Oregon Department of Veteran Affairs, which is a state entity in comparison to the federal entity of VA. We have goals to support students in the success of their educational goals, as well as their successful transition from college to workforce and community. We're very excited to see improvements to our center and overall goals towards these. Additionally, CSRT is an acronym that I hope you already know, but if you don't, I'm so excited to chat about it with you. This is our Coordinated Student Resource Team. This is a very effective team that surround staff who are proficient and experts in their field and understanding the resources that they have access to. Students put a request in of basic needs or what the need is, And that team can go through and identify in a private and effective manner to help that student with what's going to be most effective for them. For example, we have, as veterans, we have 2 foundational funds. This is just pulled from one of those foundational funds for the 24-25 school year. $843 of equipment purchased, $2,168 of student fee payments, $13,467 of basic need assistance. That's totaling in $16,478 in direct student assistance. To give you an idea, my numbers have doubled for fall of 2025. Okay, we are doing amazing things to help students, but this basic need is definitely something that we see. Community partnerships. I cannot row my boat by myself. I'm so thankful to have many connections and wonderful people in this industry that help us out. These are just a list of some of the examples of the events that we held in 2024-25 that brought in community members, it brought in veterans from around Clackamas County. And different schools to CCC. We held the school certifying official conference here, the Veteran School Coordinator Summit, the Clackamas County Veterans Expo, firearm suicide prevention classes, ODVA's Women's Veteran I Am Not Invisible display, and the Women's Veterans Engage Conference, which is upcoming here in May. And then below, you can see just some of the quick snapshots, as many as I could fit in, truly, into this slide. But we have so many partners. It is unbearable, honestly. I'm so thankful for that. All right. So you've heard enough from me. I would really love for you to hear from our wonderful students, 2 of which I have with me today. Caden Hutchinson here. She is working on her transfer degree of social sciences and psychology. She is new here at CCC and experiencing into her 2nd term. And then also additionally, Jonathan Bernard, who I have here off to my right. He is getting his transfer degree in fitness technology as well as a certificate in fitness specialist. Jonathan is here and he is in his last term here at CCC. So I'll hand it off and Caden, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caden Hutchison, and I am a new student here at Clackamas Community College. I'm a full-time student, mother of 3, and I homeschool my children. Like many parents, my days are surrounded by caring for my family and teaching my children. For a long time, I felt as if my own education would have to wait, but CCC opened up doors of opportunity for me. Because of the online courses, I am able to work towards my degree while still being fully present for my family. I take time to study during the quiet moments of the day and often late into the night after everyone is asleep. That flexibility has made the opportunity for higher education possible for someone in my season of life. I'm also deeply grateful for the Veterans Center and the support for military families. Because of my husband's service, I am able to attend college using the dependent education benefits. The Veterans Center has made the process welcoming, understandable, and supportive. As a military spouse, it means a lot knowing that our family sacrifice is honored through opportunities like this. My goal here at CCC is to complete the AAOT degree with my focus being in social sciences and psychology, with the career goal of becoming a counselor so I can help individuals and families who are struggling and need someone to walk alongside them. CCC isn't just helping me earn a degree, it's preparing me to give back to my community. I love knowing that this experience isn't only changing my future, it's changing my family's future as well. My children see perseverance, the value of education, and they see it's never too late to grow. Because of CCC, the stay-at-home mother I am today is preparing to become a counselor who will serve others in the future, and that opportunity will impact lives far beyond my own. Thank you for your time and investing in a student like me.
Thank you, Caden. Go ahead, John.
Good evening. I'd like to start by reflecting on a few key experiences from my time at CCC's Vet Center Club. My name is Jonathan Bernard, and I'm a CCC student, veteran, also a work study since 2024. Before that, I began my journey at 18 in the U.S. Marine Corps and later on as an airman in the Air Force Reserve. And I'd like to think that I know a thing or two about CCC's Vet Center and how it operates. From the perspective of a veteran, a student, and as well as a work study. To me, the Vet Center has been a solid foundation to launch from. It represents a fresh start after stepping away from the corporate world. And I got a chance to experience things that I never would have been exposed to before. And I'm really thankful for that. The work-life balance at CCC's Vet Center, also along with the accommodations thereof that provide something that our work studies truly appreciate, especially during midterms and finals. Community is another aspect I'd like to highlight. CCC's Vet Center is not only a great place for students to do their homework, but it's also a small community where concepts like nods and friendships flourish. CCC's Vet Center embraces concepts like integrity and respect for everyone. It's a place where laughs are shared amongst veterans and civilians alike. We share our resources with one another, whether it's dealing with life, the VA, or school, or general outreach. And community engagement is another appreciated aspect of CCC's Vet Center. It's a place where civilians, like spouses and dependents, and veterans go for help. We participate in just about everything that's going on around the college, especially with college fairs on the campuses or job fairs, as well as supporting local charities like Aubrey mentioned. Our doors are always open to the lesser fortunate as well, with those folks who may trickle in, even if it's just for a cup of coffee on a cold winter day or morning. And lastly, I'd like to also address CCC's Vet Center leadership. As you may be aware, Aubrey and April, as well as Dustin, manage and run the Vet Center, and they're truly invaluable staples to the CCC's Vet Center. Furthermore, I'd like to think of CCC's Vet Center as the crown jewel of CCC, and CCC is lucky to have them. Aubrey and April are consistently connecting with their veterans and they're checking on their veterans, and they never hesitate to go above and beyond, offering their time, their energy, and knowledge wherever it's needed. Furthermore, they show their appreciation and they show their passion for the veterans that they help and their families that they help as well by organizing graduation parties and including veterans and their dependents and everybody alike to celebrate and reflect on the time that we share together. April and Aubrey are the Vet Center's backbone. Their commitment, care, and appreciation shines through every day. And for me, in closing, the Vet Center has served as a home base on CCC campus, and I imagine the same thing goes for other students and veterans alike and dependents thereof. So with that, I'd like to yield my time and thank you.
Thank you, John. And that's all we have for you today. My closing remarks are just thank you for this opportunity to present. And again, I extend an invitation for you to come and check out the Vet Center, come hang out with us, come play the Switch with us. We have so much fun. And on Thursdays, usually there's free food. So come on, I ordered Panda Express already for tomorrow. If there's any questions, we're available for questions.
I don't have any questions, but I would just like to say thank you, Danielle, for bringing these two young people together with us tonight. And I think, Kate, you have the two young girls in the back? 3 of them. Wow.
One's on Dad's lap.
Oh. But I tell you, they are absolutely gorgeous. They have the most beautiful dresses on, and I congratulated them and they gave me a compliment back. Said, thank you for recognizing that.
Good.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. And for you, Jonathan, keep it up, man. Keep flying. We really do appreciate you bringing this to us. And now I know where I can get a cup of coffee rather than at McDonald's.
Absolutely. Please come by anytime, Chair.
I'll be down. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
How does destroying a car generate money?
Yes. Well, you'll have to come by in May to find out. But to give you a brief rundown, it's usually, I think I have the club vote on it because it's truly their fundraiser and their opportunity and it teaches good leadership. But I believe they do either $1 a hit or you can do $5 for as many hits as you want. It is a 10-pound sledgehammer, so you get pretty tired pretty quick. Just an FYI. But the $5 is a real getter.
It's a great value for getting out your aggression. Let me just say, yeah, I think I spent a little bit of money there.
In addition to that, it is typically tied in with ASG's wellness fair, and what better mental health opportunity than to take it out on a car?
And does it come with safety glasses?
We do have safety glasses,
Okay.
yes. And then also we work with automotive to get these cars and they absolutely get all of the liquid, all the fluids out. There's anything that's a projectile opportunity that is taken away. Okay, we're all safe here. We're all safe. We follow the bond project.
Yeah, just thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Now on to our association reports. First, I'd like to congratulate our newly elected ASG president, Samuel Power. Do you have a report for us, Samuel, tonight? Remember, you only have 3 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right. Well, yeah, we've had a few transitions in the last month. So I moved into the president position and we have a new vice president as well, Daniel Dodd. He was our chair of the clubs department. And we're currently hiring for a chair of the clubs department as well as community wellness. And in the last month, we've hosted, I believe it was 3 trivias on Mondays from 12 to 1, excluding the week we were closed, of course. We've also done a Valentine's Day event. I believe that was last Wednesday, and that had a very good turnout. There were about 30 folks in attendance there, so that was pretty popular. And I would say the biggest thing that we've done though is lobby day today. And that was very exciting. And like I mentioned earlier, about like 95% of our team showed up. I think only 2 folks had scheduling conflicts. And most of us stayed for most of, if not the entire day. And we're having a lot of positive momentum around that energy of like trying to get out there and speak to our representatives and try to make a positive impact at our college and in our communities. And so we're exploring other ways we can further that as well moving forward. But yeah, that's my report for today. Mhm.
I just want to add that all of the students that came out to the lobby day did a phenomenal job with all of the elected officials and their representatives that we spoke to today. They made such a great case for CCC, and you would all have been very proud to hear them talk today.
Thank you.
Our next report is coming to us via Zoom. We have Jennifer Pope, President of Classified. Jennifer here. I saw it.
I am. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I reached out to my union leaders to give me some information about what was going on around the association that I could share, whether it was teams or individuals, and they didn't disappoint. So I will talk fast and try and keep it under a time limit here. So last week, the Student Success and Retention Conference happened in Portland. I know Tim was one of the keynote speakers there, but we also had a large number of classified members attend that conference where they learned about different retention efforts that were happening around the region. Additionally, ACE members Adam Wickert, who is our scholarship program analyst, and Beth Wickland, who's the college navigator coordinator, gave great presentations sharing about their respective departments at the conference. So it was a good experience had by all from what I hear. In campus services, engineers have been busy upgrading all the pole lights to LED to save time and money on the aged lighting and reduce energy. And they are constantly looking at ways to improve our building control system to make it more efficient and make improvements to maintain better operating times. So there's less downtime and better temperatures when people come in, which I appreciate when I come in early in the morning or late at night. They are interfacing with construction teams as we go into the bond project, especially to ensure projects are done to our standards so we don't have equipment that gives us problems or things put in bad places that make service hard or inconvenient for the end users who are in those spaces as well. This is all on top of the constant flow of work orders that we all fill out for them to deal with aged equipment failing or resetting things or fixing issues caused by power fluctuations like we had yesterday, or fixing operator errors. So very busy, a lot of work they're getting done for us. Some of you may know that in our last collective bargaining cycle, we agreed to transfer approval and distribution of ACE's professional and personal development funds to a committee made up of classified employees. This committee has worked over the last couple of years to make the process more efficient and accessible so that more classified would be able to use the funds available to our association. And I'm happy to say that they have done a really excellent job of that, because for the first time in many, many years, we have already exhausted our personal and professional development funds for the year, which is, hard for people who wanted to use them later in the year, but really great to hear that classified have been able to take advantage of a lot of great opportunities so far this year. And then lastly, I want to highlight an individual ACE member's amazing work for the college and our community at large. During fall and winter terms, Amy Colafello, who is the admin assistant in the music department, has managed the operational coordination of 13 public music events, including 2 jazz harmony concerts, 4 Tuesday at 12 concerts, and 7 student ensemble concerts. Spring term production is already underway and includes scholarship auditions, 3 additional Tuesday at 12 concerts, jazz harmony, Clackapalooza, concert on the quad, and 5 student ensemble concerts. She's currently coordinating CCC's upcoming annual festivals, which will bring 70 high school instrumental and vocal ensembles and an estimated 1,600 students to our campus, along with their families and their directors. Amy has also represented the music department at multiple music-specific college nights, as well as at CCC Welcome Week and student club events. She's always helping to connect with prospective students and build our outreach in that department. Planning and cross-departmental coordination are underway for the department's upcoming preview night, which brings prospective students to campus for a tour and performances. She has also organized multiple fundraisers to directly support student travel costs for the upcoming music department Baltics performance tour, which helps to ensure that the travel opportunity is accessible to as many students as possible. Collectively, her work reflects continuous large-scale event production and regional outreach, serving thousands, literally thousands of students and community members, and sustaining the operational framework that supports the music department's public programming and recruitment efforts, alongside her faculty and student support duties as an admin assistant. And I will say, alongside, she's very active in our union as well, and does a lot of good work for us too. So that is my highlight of an individual member and some things that are going on with classified right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Are there any questions, Jennifer? Seeing none. Thank you for presenting for us this evening. Bye.
Thank you.
We have a full-time faculty, Charlie Lettermeyer, but he's not here tonight, and we don't have a report from anyone presenting in his place. Our associate faculty, Christopher Beck. He's not here tonight either. And I don't have his report. And our final presentation from our board area is our college president.
Thank you, Chair Kershaw. I've got a few items to inform you about tonight, and mostly they're about activities and some different things happening. So last week, Foundation Director Deborah Mason and I attended a Community College Leaders Roundtable that was hosted downtown Portland by Becker Capital Management. Really great opportunity. I was the one president there, and there were mostly foundation directors really talking about some of the challenges around basic needs and providing for students and really figuring out some alternative ways to do that. It was a fascinating conversation, which I think will lead to additional conversations, and I think more importantly, some opportunities maybe for some private grant support and some others from some folks. So that was a great opportunity that Deborah and I had. As was mentioned there by Jennifer, Last week was the Student Services Student Success and Retention Conference. It's an annual conference held in Portland. It's all the Oregon community colleges, and then I think Southwest Washington community colleges attend and bring their student services folks. Around 300, 400 folks attend this conference. It's been happening for years. It's a great conference. I was the closing speaker for that, talking about leadership lessons learned during my run this past summer. It was really fun to do, but I was really impressed, and thank you, Jennifer Pope, for pointing that out. We had quite a large contingency of Clackamas staff and administrators attending that, and it's just a great educational learning opportunity for them. And I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Anderson, who's our associate dean in student services, who was one of the key organizers, one of the two organizers for that conference. Did a huge amount of work to get that done. And she's not here tonight, but I wanted to give her a shout out for all that work. The foundation held an open house yesterday afternoon over in Wachino, which they had about 40, 50 folks attend. It was a really nice opportunity to do that as well. March 4th, coming up soon, I'll be part of, I think there's 18 university and community college presidents that will be at an event from Greater Portland Inc. downtown at Portland State. It's called Meet the Presidents. And so we all get just a tiny opportunity to really talk about our institutions and talk about some of the challenges that we're facing. It should be a really interesting presentation. If you are interested, we can get you that information out if you want to come and attend that. It's March 4th, the morning of March 4th at PSU. I will just mention briefly, but I'm sure some of you will mention more detail about today's lobby day. Samuel, I can't say enough about the students that came down in ASG. It was out of the 8 or more that I've been to and done, I probably did the least amount of work, because you guys did such a fantastic job of really expressing our needs. And for the record, I'm on the record, the Senate President, Rob Wagner, when we were in that meeting, I was so compelled. He actually told us that, he didn't guarantee, but he told us that we would not be facing a reduction in the community college support fund. So we've got that on record. Now we'll see how that goes. And then tomorrow I'll be attending the Ways and Means Committee, which is where they'll actually be starting to talk about budget and seeing where things come into play there. There's a couple of the community college presidents are presenting at that, so I'm going to be at that as well. Coming up also very soon, next Wednesday at the Harmony Campus is our Black Excellence event and our panel around that, which the chair will be a part of from 11:30 to 1. Really recommend if you have a chance to get over to Harmony Campus and hear from our different speakers. And again, I want to give a shout out to Tina Francisco Evans, who was here earlier, CC Leonard, Jesse and Katie and Casey for all of the work that they've done around this event and other events too, to make that a success. That is next Wednesday, February 25th, 11:30 to 1. And we can send you that information as well so that you have it. But it'll be streamed, I believe, as well if you can't come in person. You got some pretty fun invitations to the theater department's winter play called Witch, which starts up this next weekend. So if you have a chance, to come out and do that, it looks like a really fun one. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then I've been updating you on the basketball teams. Our women remain the number one in the NWAC for Washington and Oregon. They're, I think, now at 24 or 25 games undefeated. They have 3 games left before they go to the tournament in early March. Our men's team are kind of right on the bubble. They need to win, I think, all of their remaining 3 games to go to the playoffs. So they're doing okay, but they've got some work to do as we go along. And then lastly, I'm going to ask Deborah Mason from the foundation to come up and present our foundation annual report. She might have some support as well.
Good evening. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, directors and Chair Crenshaw. And with me is Haley Stupowski, who is the Director of College Advancement. So we typically have a report right now from the foundation, but this will be a little bit bigger, more of our annual report for you. And we're going to talk a little bit to begin with about some of the highlights from 2025, and then just briefly talk about what we're looking forward to and working on in 26. We did provide you with a report that is around our strategic plan, our three-year strategic plan. So we won't go through that detail by detail because you have that, but we will have time at the end if you've got questions from us around that or anything else that we talk about tonight. I'm going to start when we talk about things that happened that we're proud of or that we're, that we really thought made an impact in 2025. I'm going to start talking about basic needs, which you've already heard about a little bit tonight. You hear about it a lot. Something kind of remarkable, a little bit of a stat. In 2024, the foundation distributed about $94,000 to students for basic needs. And when we say basic needs, it really is a broad definition, but it primarily what we're paying for are rent, mortgages, utility bills. Those are the main ones, but we also cell phone bills, medical expenses, tires, so transportation, but rent and utilities are really the biggest requests. So 94,000 in 2024. In year 2025, we distributed 158,625. That's about a 60% increase year over year. And it really isn't enough. We put limits on how much we can actually support. So we know that the need is there, it's growing. And that represented about 146 students. Sorry, I should have included that. A big part of 2025, especially around basic needs, of course, was Tim's running for Oregon's community college students. His little tiny run of 1,400 miles raised nearly $180,000, of which CCC received $101,000. The remaining went to all the other community colleges, but yes, Tim. Little over 700 donors to that campaign. So when we talk about one of Tim's purposes for doing this was, of course, to raise money, but equally was to build awareness. And he certainly did that, continues to do that with that effort. So a really huge showing up of not just the local community, but statewide. And we had donors from other states as well. So that was a big deal. And I'll talk about where that money went in terms of basic needs a little bit later in our report. And now I would like Haley, she's going to share us some information about 2025 scholarships.
Sure. So 2025 was definitely a banner year for scholarships for a lot of reasons. The first being that we had 1,798 scholarship applicants in 2025, and that is easily the most the foundation has ever received in its history. So for some perspective, in 2024, there was 1,640 applicants. So there was about a 10% increase year over year. Definitely the most significant I've seen in my time here. That speaks to two things: that our outreach efforts for students, to understand that they have access to scholarships is working, but it also speaks to the fact that the need is increasing. And in 2025, we gave out $1,044,000 in scholarships. That's the third year in a row that the foundation has been able to provide more than $1 million in scholarship funding, which is something we're really proud of and will continue. Those dollars went to 423 students in the amount of 503 awards. So yes, students can receive more than one scholarship. The smallest award was $300 and the largest was $13,580. So there's a lot of opportunities for our students to access through the scholarship program, and the average award is a little bit more than $2,000. So that does make a substantial impact on tuition for our students. We awarded only about 27% of our total applicants. That is the lowest percentage I've seen in a few years. Normally, the foundation is able to award anywhere between 35 and 40% of the applicant pool. So, that is speaking to a lot of shifts that are happening as well. And some interesting data points that I wanted to highlight are the presence of first generation students in our applicant pool, folks that are receiving SNAP, and also Pell Grant recipients. Our awarding reflects about what is present in the pool. About 20% of our applicants are receiving Pell Grants. 33% of applicants indicated that they're first generation, and almost 15% identified as receiving SNAP benefits. So that is all, the data points I want to talk about the scholarship program. But in 2025, we put a lot of concerted effort into building our resources in these areas. So Deborah and I will also talk about the culture of investment that really happened in 2025 in the foundation. And that was a big theme for us, is investing in the students of today and tomorrow. And our donors, board and staff invested quite literally a lot in that effort. And I'm happy to say that more than $2.3 million was put into the foundation's endowment in 2025. And that is the most significant investment that this foundation has ever made in its students. So that is something to be really proud of. The first endowment that I'll talk about is the Student Opportunity Endowment, because it is connected to the scholarship program. So we know at CCC and community colleges in general, not all of our students see themselves as scholarship worthy. And traditional scholarship programs tend to focus a little bit more on past academic achievement, primarily high school grades, and they overlook the potential of our students. And for those who face life challenges or maybe had difficult high school experiences, that feeling of not being academic enough might carry into adulthood. And this Student Opportunity Endowment is designed to challenge that idea about what scholarship worthiness looks like. And this endowment allows us to recognize and invest in students based off of their potential and their promise and effort and plans. And it just supports students of all kinds. So I'd like to share a quote from a recipient named Lisa W., who's a CCC student who returned to college after a 20-year break. Lisa says, "Supporting students of all ages brings diversity and unique perspectives into the classroom, which benefits everyone's learning experience." I agree with that. And she also says it allows older students who may not have thought education was possible to return with purpose, confidence, and the ability to contribute meaningfully to our community. And that's what I love to hear from students, that the support that they're receiving is aligning with their experience, their goals, and also the needs of our community. And I'm excited to see the future of what this endowment can have. And I invite Deborah to share some more.
Thank you. Yes, we've got two more exciting new endowments that were established in 2025, our Basic Needs Endowment and the Food Pantry Endowment. Speaking of the food pantry, a lot happened last year. We're always focused on food insecurity. We have been for a while. But with the government shutdown that happened in the fall and the subsequent SNAP benefit cutoff for that entire month of October, I believe that was the length of it, really highlighted even more what a burden this is on our students. And so we did a lot of work, a lot of campaigning around the food pantry, and the community really showed up. It was really something. And working alongside ASG has been really amazing, because together we have created the ASG Food Pantry Endowment, really led by the students, with foundation matching funds to get that invested and established in the year 2025. The thing is our food pantries are seeing, probably all three of them, because we do have them on all three campuses, about a 20 to 25% increase in visits every year. The Harmony campus alone distributed 128,000 pounds of food last year, and that is a 90% increase over 23-24 academic year. So just really, the need is so great that this is just a very incredibly urgent. And so what this endowment does is really creates that sustainability that the pantries need. And so we're really excited about that, and we'll continue to fundraise around that. And then the Basic Needs Endowment. much that same concept of sustainability. Of course, we will always be fundraising for these things, but to know that in perpetuity, we have funds coming in to support students and the cost of living so they can stay enrolled. We don't want our students to ever have to make a decision between buying food and paying for tuition. We want them, if they want to be here, we want to keep them here. And so it really is part of a retention strategy, quite honestly. We don't want them dropping out. We don't want them dropping even a class. We want to keep them supported. Because, you know, community college students are here for a very distinct short period of time, really, and we don't want to lose them because this may be their time, this may be their shot. And so we recognize that and really want to work hard to keep them here. And again, like Haley mentioned, the board also decided to put $1 million into this fund as well. So both this and the general scholarship or the student opportunity endowment are funded at $1 million right now, which is incredible. Great future planning for that. Yeah, so those are the three endowments that we established in 2025. And what I want to share next, just sort of closing this up, is what we're looking forward to in 2026. And of course, a lot more happened in 25, but that's the highlights. And what I would also, I should have led with this, but you have Haley and I sitting here. This body of work actually represents a team of 6. There are 4 more of us in the foundation office, incredibly dedicated and student-focused work staff. So I just want to make sure that you all know that it's not just Haley and I doing all this. I'd like to announce, it's not, well, I guess it's public as soon as I say it, but really exciting news. Met with Terry and Sherry Holden last week, and they are committing $5 million to our bond project, to the Natural Resource Center and other projects. So yay. So that is substantial, and we're just really, really excited about that. There's going to be a lot of extras that we will be able to do in that structure that really will lead to student success and make them more job ready. This is what industry needs us to provide for our students. And so it's going to be incredible in terms of the horticulture, well and fire, our arboriculture, and the WET program, Water Environmental Technology programs, are going to see a lot of really enhanced opportunities for training here on campus. This year, we are also going to be focusing on planned giving. We do have what we call our Heritage Society. A little over 50 people have told us, and we have statements of intent that we are in their estate planning, but we haven't really done a great job in cultivating that group or really growing it. And so that is a focus of ours going forward. I'm going to be doing some more education on that to make sure that we are cultivating our current Heritage Society, but getting more people in the fold. I think that higher ed is a natural for that, and there's a lot we can do that we just haven't been doing. So we're really excited about growing our Heritage Society this year and in the future. And then to close us out, Haley is going to talk a little bit about some future fundraising that we have this year, and you've got some flyers on your desk as well.
Yeah, so all of our fundraising priorities are centered around scholarships, basic needs, and program and institutional support. So upcoming in the next few months, there are a few ways you can help us out with that effort. First, coming up here in about a month is the Opportunity Bracket Challenge. This is a new one. So to support the Student Opportunity Scholarships, we are opening some bracket pools during, the big dance that happens in the basketball tournament next month. So what will happen is you can contribute $10 per bracket entry to men's and women's tournament pools. And the winner of these pools, anybody is invited to participate. The winner of the pools gets to name an honorary scholarship in the next year. So that will be a pretty fun, easy way for people to get acquainted with us. So please share with anybody who is a basketball fan in your life. And even if not, you can probably pick some random people in the bracket and still win. And then the next one will be our annual fundraising luncheon that will happen on May 13th, I believe. Rise Up, that is our annual luncheon that supports basic needs at the college. So if you would like to assist our students in paying some rent and utilities, that is your opportunity to do so, and also be in community with other supporters of the college. And then finally, in June, we will host a mini golf event at the Eagle Landing in Happy Valley. And that supports our mini grant program, which is for innovative staff projects at the college. So that is all we have for you tonight.
Are there any questions about any of this or the report that we provided?
Yeah, I had a few questions. So we spoke earlier tonight about a potential higher than average tuition increase for this upcoming year. And I was wondering if there are any plans to reach out proactively to the students that will be impacted by this tuition increase the most. Or if you kind of wait for folks to come to you and ask for resources.
Well, we do know that as tuition and fees increase, that there is more burden regardless, and that the foundation will probably have more requests. You know, there will be more need because of it. We don't have any plans at the moment, but we are in contact with students a lot. And Adam Wickard, whose name has been mentioned before, he's in charge of our scholarship program, is also an instructor. And so he's really on the front line and talking with students. And so we get a lot of really good feedback from him about what students are up to and, you know, just kind of what the buzz is around students. So we do rely on him for a lot of that to get that. So I think that it's a really good point. I think that we can be proactive. I think that we'll wait a little bit so we can see and hear. I know that hearing from Samuel was really great about the ASG's approach and how their perspective on this. But yeah, no, we'll think about that.
Okay. I also read in the report and the audit report that there are donations and then there are donations with donor restrictions. And I was curious about that term and what does donations with donor restrictions mean? And could you give an example of what some of those restrictions are?
Of course. Endowments would be one. When a donor gives us, whether it's the corpus of an endowment to get one established or donates into one, there's no other purpose. That would be against the law, actually. So that is a very restricted gift. If someone gave us funds for basic needs, it would be restricted to basic needs. So the opposite of that would be unrestricted, where it would be for us to decide where that money went. So we do have a fund called the Areas of Greatest Need. It still has some criteria, but that would be a little bit more unrestricted in nature.
Thanks. And I just had one more question. I saw that most of the foundation's assets are in investments. And I was curious if there are any kind of restriction that you guys put on where those investments can be made. I know that some institutions have certain like ethical constraints, like we're not going to invest in private prisons, like we're not going to invest in weapons manufacturers. I wonder if there's any, and is there anything kind of restraints like that for the foundation?
Yeah, I don't have our policy memorized or in front of us, but we do have investment managers that are really environmentally friendly. There's a few different focuses. So yes, they are really mindful of that and work with local nonprofits around those same issues. So yeah, we do have some constraints. Yeah.
I have a question around the pantry. That's open to anyone, correct?
That's correct.
Do you have any idea how much is used by students versus the public?
I don't have that data, but I could get it for you.
I'm curious.
Yeah, they don't ask a lot of questions. They do really operate what's called an open distribution model. And they make it as low barrier as possible. It's possible that they're asking for zip codes so we know where people are coming from. I'm not exactly sure what kind of questions if they're asking if you're a community member or a student, but I can certainly find out for you.
And you touted numbers from the Harmony campus.
Mm-hmm.
So was that where the most need was? More so than Oregon City campus?
I'm not sure if it's more, but it's pretty darn close in terms of the visits. Wilsonville being a little bit less, not as many students are walking on that campus on a daily basis. I just have that data from Malin, who runs the Pantry and Harmony campus in Milwaukee. So that's not data that I have in front of me, but I can also find that out for you.
Okay, thank you.
And we've got somebody who has it.
Please.
Sorry. No one's here. Hi. I can share, I know that we don't ask questions about if they're a community member or student. And part of the why that we provide service to the broader community is the partnership with the food bank. And so we have to open that up, but we try to ask as few questions as possible. So we couldn't answer that question. And there was a question earlier in regards to the foundation and their support and response and outreach to students impacted by our tuition increases. I can speak to a different area that we are responding to. So we added some questions to our most recent EYES survey, which is our student experience survey around financial aid. One of the things that we've been identifying is that we have a very low number of students utilizing financial aid here at Clackamas in regard to and relative to what we understand the rest of their experience to look like. And we had some questions around why they weren't tapping into financial aid and if they might actually be eligible. And so the way that we asked the questions, and Ashley Sears worked with our director of financial aid on this, were both around whether they were utilizing financial aid, and then questions about their eligibility and use of other community-based services that would typically indicate that they may be eligible for financial aid. And then there was another question around if they had an emergency expense come up that was around $500 or something to that effect, could they meet that need if that came up in the next 6 months? Again, kind of indicating that they likely are eligible for financial aid. And when we say that, we mean some of the Pell Grants, so the free money that they do not have to pay back. So we have that information now that we can follow up on. And a lot of what we were hearing from our students was that there's some discomfort and opportunity for us to educate our community and help them to understand that they actually may be eligible. So there's a lot of work that we are planning to dig into that more and make sure our students are aware of that, especially as we're considering these tuition increases.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions? I want to say congratulations on your increases and the amount of scholarships that you're awarding. I think you guys have done a super job.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
I'm
you,
not
Deb.
there to help you out, so don't worry about it. You're doing well without me.
You're there in spirit.
Yeah. But I do appreciate, and I know the students here do because they talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Listening to them around the campus.
Yeah.
It's very good. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
And that's the end of my report, unless there's any questions for me.
Nope, don't have any questions from you.
Yes, I can. This will be quick as well. I think the main focus on OCCA now is the legislature and what's going on with some of these bills that we've been tracking. I was not able to go today to the Capitol, but so if anybody wants to report on that, please do. And but before you do, let me. I guess you can report on that during the other time. But one thing I wanted to mention is that there is going to be a one-click campaign, focusing on maintaining the Community College Support Fund, and it's happening from today through Friday. And it's on the OCCA website, and it's really easy. It's a letter to, it will identify your representatives or senators that need to be contacted, and you just put in your name and address, and there it goes. And I know it makes, it's a wonderful resource, and I would encourage people to do it. And it's on, like I said, it's on the OCCA website under advocacy, take action. So please do that. A couple of things. Oh, I guess today there was in memory of Aaron. There was something at 8 o'clock today at the Capitol recognizing Aaron Woods, our board member. So I think that's very nice that that happened. April 17th is going to be the All Oregon Academic Team Luncheon at Chemeketa Eola Center, and that's always exciting and fun to go to and inspiring. So put that on, especially board members, put it on your calendars because it's a great a day for that. February 26th, which is coming up, is the Lunch and Learn, and it is going to be, oh, it's about the nursing programs, the bachelor's in nursing programs at several of the colleges. So if anybody, I encourage people to listen to that. They're also recorded, so if you can't make it at that time, which I never can because it's when I'm working at my food bank in Estacada, always when that's happening, but they are recorded so people can see them afterwards. I think that's about it. I didn't write this out, so I think we'll be hearing within the next week or so about a number of bills that are up. So that will be interesting to follow. And I think that's it. So if anybody wants to add about today, that would be good. I'm done.
We're going to ask any one of the board members want to talk about today.
Yeah, I can talk about today and then just weave in my regular report. Is that fine? Okay. Yeah, I had the opportunity to spend the day at the Capitol. I think we did 10 visits with representatives or senators and or their staff. I've personally been transformed by higher education, and I've personally worked in higher education my entire career. I actually run a foundation myself that provides scholarships. And there's something profound to me around spending the day with students and hearing their stories. And as board members, we were just like do a little introduction and then sort of move out of the way. And the first conversation, I was particularly moved with Samuel's story in Drazen's office about his history and how he came to CCC. And I think Drazen was also moved by that conversation. And it was this big reminder of like, that's why we're here. That's why we get up and we do this work. That's why you all get up and do this work every single day. And that commitment to students and helping them achieve things that they maybe didn't think that they could achieve and move the needle in so many different ways. And so being in those conversations today, I felt was like a huge honor and privilege. Feeling more connected to the students here, their stories, and just seeing how the different representatives and senators even responded and engaged with those stories that were shared. They were all in all the conversations I was in, they were all very positive and receptive. And hopefully there'll be good progress that happens in the Capitol in the coming weeks and days. But I was just amazed like today. It was a great day. And I'm looking forward to more opportunities as we continue to remind others outside of this place how important the work we do is every single day. So that's a little bit of my summary on today that I was particularly grateful for. And then just another thing that we've been working on, we started to have some campus conversations for the Wilsonville campus and sort of engaging in what some of the goals might be there, and doing some brainstorming around that and having some conversations with additional people that I found to be really helpful. I was able to have a few conversations with people in Wilsonville as we continue to engage that. So yeah, it's been over a 12-hour day dedicated to CCC today, and my heart is very warm taking these stories. So thank you, Samuel, and to all the others that were there today. So grateful. So.
Yes, I was there as well, and Alina and Irene was there as well today, and it was a full day. I was impressed with the students as well. I could just say ditto for much of what you said. But Sam especially impressed me. I asked him to give his story a fourth time, I believe, in Senator Jama's office, because I heard him in Drazen's as well. And he has a great, very inspiring story that would hopefully inspire them to not cut their budgets, right? Not cut our budgets. And he did a great job of presenting it. And I always enjoy going to the Capitol, but you really feel like I don't know, you're doing something. You're serving the college, right? Because that's a big part of our funding. A third, if not 40% often, from year to year. And this is a tough year for them. They've got to make some tough cuts, and we're just praying we're not one of them. I think there were 12, 13 students there today from Clackamas Community College. Very impressive, the support, and they're looking for more ways to be involved. We had a meeting and kind of in between meetings, and these students are looking to get more involved. You know, how can we do more? How can we help? And very impressed with that, and we all should be. It seems we've got a lot of energy coming from our student base, wanting to get more involved. And thank you, Sam, and every student that's here, if they are here.
Yeah, I think I spoke a little bit about this earlier, but I'll just add that it was absolutely a privilege to be able to support the work that the students did today.
Well, I wasn't able to attend today because I had dental work. And you can't speak to anyone when you have dental work. So just to let you know that my heart and soul was with you, and you said the same things that we said when we went to DC. We took a group of students. The representatives didn't want to hear from us, they wanted to hear from the students. And so it's really our joy to have them with you, Sam, and you bring them really well. I've heard a lot of conversation about Sam. So who's Sam? Oh, you know, he's at ASG. Oh, okay, I understand now. So all of the things that we are doing here at the college are representing our commitment to this school and our commitment to try to make it a better place. You know, I attended the girls' basketball game. I tell you, if you ever want to see something exciting, go watch a game of girls play basketball. They can shoot from half court no matter what. I mean, it was absolutely exciting to see. And the enthusiasm that we get from seeing our students really move forward is our job and our responsibilities that we join these boards because we want to help. I started my career at a community college. We call them junior colleges at that time, a long time ago. But it is absolutely a joy to see them progress. And the food that we give out, no matter who it goes to, is helping someone. It's not sitting in our pantries. It's going to waste. So thank you all for all the things that you do every day. And I know you got 12 hours, man, mine 15, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fun. Are there any other comments? Any other items? Anything else we have? If not, I'm going to adjourn this Clackamas Community College Board of Education. Thank you.